Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 4, Chapter 3, Text 23. Sattvam Vishudam Vasudeva Shaptitam.
Sattvam Vishudam Vasudeva Shaptitam.
Yadi yate tatra pamana pavrataha.
Yadi yate tatra puman apavrata.
Sattve chatasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo.
Sattve chatasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo.
Yadokshajo me namasa vidiyate.
Yadokshajo me namasa vidiyate.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I'm always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering. So Lord Shiva is saying this to Sati. He's saying, I'm always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. So what is Lord Shiva doing all the time? He's constantly offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva. We can here also try to understand the position of Lord Shiva as a pure devotee of Krishna. Because he's a pure devotee of Krishna, he's always offering obeisances to Krishna. And he's saying what is pure consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Means understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and acting for the pleasure of the Lord. So this is Lord Shiva's position, and he's declaring it openly that this is his position. So he's not claiming that I am God. He's claiming that Krishna is God. The living entity is constitutionally pure. Living entity, we are all living entities, the Jivatma. When we speak of living entity, we are referring to the soul, not to the body. So in our original state, each of us has this Krishna consciousness, pure consciousness. So here also Lord Shiva is saying that Krishna consciousness is actually the pure consciousness. When we are saying conscious, Srila Prabhupada says, conscious means being Krishna conscious. But yes, we don't keep on saying every time. We just say, yes, the living entity is conscious. But it actually means being Krishna conscious, because that is the original position. Asango hi ayam purushaha. In the Vedic literature, it is said that the soul is always pure and uncontaminated by material attachment. So we are like so attached. We have so many attachments to the body and everything in relation to the body. But the soul in the pure state has no material attachment. The identification of the body with the soul is due to misunderstanding. Sounds amazing, right? Here, right now, we are inside the body and we are like so attached to the body and everything going on with the body. But we are hearing that actually the soul has no connection to the body. It is a misunderstanding. As soon as one is fully Krishna conscious, it is to be understood that one is in his pure, original, constitutional position. This state of existence is called Shuddha Sattva, which means that it is transcendental to the material qualities. So Shuddha Sattva is above the mode of ordinary goodness. There are three gunas, Sattva Gun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. So this Sattva Gun, which is there, this Sattva Gun is also one of the modes of nature. So to rise beyond that, when we rise beyond this mode of sattva gun, that is called Shuddha Sattva. That is transcendental goodness. From the Shuddha Sattva, then we don't come down to passion and ignorance. We can see some in our throughout our day, we may be sometimes in Sattva gun, sometimes in Rajogun, sometimes in Tamgun. So the modes keep on influencing us. But Sattva, Shuddha Sattva means beyond. That's liberation. That is the pure state of the soul. Since this Shuddha Sattva existence is under the direct action of the internal potency, in this state, the activities of material consciousness stop. So in the Shuddha Sattva, when the soul is on the Shuddha Sattva platform, everything the soul does is for the pleasure of Krishna. No more under the pleasure, no more under the control of the three modes of material nature. No more thinking in terms of the body. For example, when iron is put into a fire, it becomes warm, and when red hot, although it is iron, it acts like fire. Similarly, when copper is surcharged with electricity, its action as copper stops. It acts as electricity. Bhagavad Gita 14:26 also confirms that anyone who engages in unadulterated devotional service to the Lord is at once elevated to the position of pure Brahman. So the analogy Srila Prabhupada is putting here is, we have a fire and we put a iron rod. So someone will say, oh, iron rod is different, fire is different. Fine. But when we put this iron rod inside the fire, after some time, then when we take out this iron rod, it becomes red and it's hot, just like the fire. It has the same fiery quality. It can burn. You know, if somebody may argue, no, it's not the same, then, well, touch the red hot part of the iron. No, I will not, because I will get. So it's the same. When the iron is put inside the fire, it takes the quality of fire. Similarly, Prabhupada is putting another analogy, that the copper wire is surcharged with electricity. So it becomes electricity. It acts as electricity. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 14:26, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityayitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So Krishna is saying this in chapter 14, text 26, that anyone who engages in pure devotional service, means only acting for the pleasure of Krishna, no more material desire, no desire for liberation, no desire for mystic yoga, and engaging in pleasure of Krishna by following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, anushilanam, engaging in the footsteps of the previous acharya, not making up something by oneself. Then Krishna says, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. That is the position of Brahman. It's a liberated position, means the soul has completely understood, I'm not the body, I am the soul, eternal servant of Krishna. Therefore, Shuddha Sattva, as described in this verse, is the transcendental position, which is technically called Vasudev. Vasudev is also the name of the person from whom Krishna appears. This verse explains that the pure state is called Vasudev because in that state, Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is revealed without any covering. So if we really want to understand Krishna, we have to come to this Vasudev platform, the Shuddha Sattva platform, engaging in pure devotional service. And then we can understand the science of God. So Vasudev is the liberated platform. As we just said, Shuddha Sattva is the same Shuddha Sattva platform. Vasudev platform, also called Vasudev Sattva sometimes. To execute unadulterated devotional service, therefore, one must follow the rules and regulations of devotional service without desire to gain material profit by furtive activities or mental speculation. So, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, following all the rules and regulations, acting for the pleasure of Krishna, and without any desire that, oh, I'm going to engage in this activity and my intention is only to please Krishna, not that I'm going to get some money or some fame or some pious karma or whatever, or even mental speculation, giving up on that. So if we can just follow, continue to hear and chant, continue to hear and chant, we will come to this position. Also, to desire to be engaged in pure devotional service is pure devotional service. When we pray to Krishna, my dear Krishna, please engage me in pure devotional service. That desire itself is pure devotional service. That prayer itself is pure devotional service. In pure devotional service, one simply serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a matter of duty, without reason, and without being impeded by material conditions. So why should a soul engage in pure devotional service? Because it's the duty of every soul. Every soul is eternal, part and parcel of Krishna. Every soul is eternal servant of Krishna. So the duty is to serve. Again, when we say serve, it may bring in us a negative reaction, because service in the material world means subjugation, it means exploitation, or it may mean suffering. But if we try to understand that when we love someone, we automatically serve them. So this is what it is, that when the love is revived, then automatically the soul wants to engage in service to Krishna. How we serve our family, we are serving our friends, we are serving our siblings or children or parents. Why? Because we love them. Similarly, each of us have love of God in our heart. We have simply forgotten it. So the more we serve Him, the more we will remember and more we will be situated in that position. That is called Shuddha Sattva or Vasudev, because at that stage, the Supreme Person Krishna is revealed in the heart of the devotee. Srila Jiva Goswami has very nicely described this Vasudev or Shuddha Sattva in his Bhagavad Sandarbha. Srila Jiva Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. He's the youngest of the 6 Goswamis, very scholarly. He was very scholarly. He's written many, many commentaries, and his commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam is called Sat Sandarbha, 6 Sandarbhas. And one of the Sandarbha is called Bhagavad Sandarbha. And in that, he explains that the Ashtotara Shata, Ashtotara Shata 108, is added to the name of the spiritual master to indicate one who is situated in Shuddha Sattva, or in the transcendental state of Vasudev. The word Vasudev is also used for other purposes. So Jiva Goswami is saying to that the spiritual master who is already liberated, or he is situated in this Vasudev platform or Shuddha Sattva platform, to his name is added 108. Ashtotara Sata, we say that Ashtotara Sata, when we say the Premadhvani prayers, in the Premadhvani prayers, we do say this, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. When we are saying we are referring to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we say this Ashtotara Shata. When we are referring to Srila Prabhupada, we refer this to signify that their position is on the liberated platform. So the word Vasudev is also used for other purposes. For example, Vasudev also means one who is everywhere or all-pervading. The sun is also called Vasudev Shabdita. So Vasudev means everywhere, all-pervading. This is also another meaning of Vasudev. So someone may say, oh, Vasudev means everywhere, all-pervading. So Krishna is everywhere, so he cannot be a person. No, yes, he is everywhere by his energy, but yet he is a person, Vasudev. He is Vasudev, he is a person. And yes, he is all-pervading by his Brahmajyoti, by his Paramatma feature, and in the material world also by the material energy. The word Vasudev may be utilized for different purposes, but whatever purpose we adopt, Vasudev means the all-pervading or localized aspect, localized Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we say all-pervading or localized is the Paramatma aspect, all-pervading is the Brahman, the Brahmajyoti aspect. Or even Paramatma is sometimes called all-pervading, because Paramatma is everywhere. He is in the atom of every, he is inside the atom, every atom of the universe. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 19, it is also stated, Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Factual realization is to understand Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we understand Vasudev, what will we do? Automatically, we will surrender to him. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Vasudev is Krishna. He is God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we understand the supermost excellent position of Krishna, then just automatically we bow down to him. We surrender to him. We call out to him, that understanding or accepting the fact that he is greater than us. You know, our fight with God is always we are trying to say that, oh God, I'm as good as you. We are trying to imitate it in that way. But the reality is we just have to accept that God is greater than us. We are not God. And once we understand it, Krishna says, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. A person who can understand this, he is a Mahatma, but also it's very rare to find such a person who surrenders unto Krishna. Vasudeva is the ground wherein Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is revealed. So right now we are in the mode of passion and ignorance. And so that's why Srila Prabhupada would say, at least come to the mode of goodness, so that from the mode of goodness, it's easier to transcend the modes and come to the platform of pure goodness or Shuddha Sattva or Vasudeva. Then when we are on that platform, we can understand God easily. Science of God is revealed. So it's like, you know, when when the window is clean, then we can clearly look out. We can look, oh, very clear, what's there? Oh, the mountain is there, the trees are there, the birds are flying. Everything becomes very clear. But when the window is dirty, we can't look through. So similarly, right now, our consciousness is all covered by all these modes of passion and ignorance, and even goodness. So once that's clear, then we can easily understand Krishna. We can easily see Krishna. When one is free from the contamination of material nature and is situated in pure Krishna consciousness, or in the Vasudeva state, Vasudeva, the Supreme Person, is revealed. This state is also called Kaivalya, which means pure consciousness. So from this position, we can understand Krishna. It's a liberated platform. This is the platform of every soul, every living entity, pure consciousness. Jnanam Satvikam Kaivalyam. When one is situated in pure transcendental knowledge, one is situated in Kaivalya. Therefore, Vasudev also means Kaivalya, a word which is generally used by impersonalists. Impersonal Kaivalya is not the last stage of realization. In Krishna consciousness Kaivalya, when one understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one is successful. So, we come to the platform of liberation, get free from the modes of nature, but that's not the end. From there, we have to understand Krishna. We have to understand God. Then that is the perfection. We have to engage in devotional service because that is the Sanatan Dharma, the activity of every soul. And so pure devotional service. That's why it is said that real life begins from the platform of liberation, because that is pure devotional service. Pure devotional service is our eternal activity. Eternal activity. In that pure state, by hearing, chanting, remembering, etc., because of the development of knowledge of the science of Krishna, one can understand the Supreme Personality of God. All these activities are under the guidance of the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. So once any Jivatma comes to the point of liberation, then he's no more under the material energy, he's under the spiritual energy, the internal energy. We need shelter. The Jivatma can never be independent. Either we take shelter of the material energy or either we take shelter of the spiritual energy. That choice is ours, but we have to take shelter. It's like a creeper. The creeper has to take shelter of a tree so that it can grow, it can have nice flowers, but the creeper will say, no, I don't need any shelter. Then it's in an artificial state. So when we refuse Krishna's shelter, Krishna puts us under the shelter of material energy. And then when we get free from the shelter of material energy, then we are in the spiritual energy, internal energy. And at that point, we continue to hear and chant. It's not that we stop. No, continue to hear and chant and remember Krishna and can understand the science of Krishna at that point. Then we will be able to actually understand God and his position. Did anyone want to add anything or comment anything?
Is also Paramhamsa the same as that the person is on the liberated platform?
Paramhamsa?
Yeah, or even HH, His Holiness.
His Holiness not necessary is on the, no. His Holiness, no. Sannyasis are mentioned as His Holiness, but they may not be on the liberated platform.
Okay.
They may not. But for example, 108 we heard just now, that is liberated. Paramhamsa should be for a Mahabhagavat actually, not somebody by himself, he just starts calling him Paramhamsa. If he's truly a Paramhamsa,
yeah, we had read it somewhere, no? We had read it some time back, the Bhagavatam.
Yes. So the real Paramhamsa, yes, he's a liberated soul. He's he's a liberated Mahabhagavat. Yes. And when we say his divine grace, means, liberated. Divine, yes, his divine grace. But his holiness,
no. Or when they I think many times they put HH108, then maybe that's what it means. When that's 108
HH108, where do they put it?
When they designate to some spiritual master, I think maybe he's got that, he's reached to that stage, probably.
Yeah, I haven't come across maybe, so I don't know. But yeah, so we have to see also that by their activities and are they,
and following the scriptures.
Following the scriptures, yes. Speaking from the scriptures, following the scriptures. Are they really on that transcendental platform? Because someone who's in the material consciousness and somebody who's in the spiritual consciousness, it's going to be different. It's going to be very different. Like so many devotees who had personal association with Srila Prabhupada, they're like, wow, that experience, they say, is nothing like it's completely on the transcendental platform, like nothing to do with the body. And Srila Prabhupada, we can see his consciousness that he was leaving his body. Barely, he has only bones and skin, and not eating for 6 months, barely not even drinking, but yet he's speaking Bhagavatam, giving the purpose to Bhagavatam. So his consciousness is, completely Krishna conscious. Even in that condition, he's speaking of Bhagavatam only. Such a painful condition, but he's transcendent. So that is the test. Good stuff here. But anyway, thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Om.